Hello, 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 hello.
Morning.
Miss Dolly Parton.
Are you there?
I am.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm well. What a way to be greeted.
Was I singing your name? I was trying to find you out there in that big world.
Well, you have found me. I guess we started the interview now, so welcome to the show. Congratulations on this album, Rockstar. This is like your first foray into rock. What made you want to do this now?
Well, actually, I never thought about being a rock star. I have, through the years, covered rock songs and kind of countrified them or bluegrassed them up a little bit, but never true rock and roll. And my husband is a huge rock and roll fan. That's his music. So all these years, I've been listening to all these rock songs and these great rock artists. And then when I got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I thought I have not earned that by any stretch of the imagination in my mind. And they put me in anyway, so I thought, well, if I am ever going to do a rock album, this is the time to do it, because I'm about timing. Ooh. So the timing was perfect. And I thought, why not? I've done everything else. I'm a rock star now! So that's just something I'm leaving for my legacy, so to speak.
Well, you've earned it now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. And what an episode that was. I don't think I've ever seen anyone campaign against their own inclusion before.
I know I'll take anything they give me in country, because I spend a lifetime working on that. So I figure if I get it in country, I deserve it as much as anyone else would. But when they wanted to put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I was almost embarrassed by it. I thought, well, I don't want to I thought they voted on that, and I didn't want to take votes from some rock artist, a group, or, people that spent their whole life doing that. I thought, well, that don't seem quite right to me. But they gave it to me anyhow. Then I thought, well, why not? Why not earn it? And that's what I've done with this rock star album.
How we heal this great divide? Do we care enough to try? Liar, liar, the world's on fire. What we gonna do when it all burns down?
Rockstar features some new tracks like World on Fire and a slew of classics with some true rock heavyweights that reads more like a bucket list.
I'm just blown away by the collaborations, the sheer number and quality of the collaborations. I mean, are they even called collaborations, though, when it's you featuring them? So, for example, you do Every Breath You Take featuring Sting, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me featuring Elton John, Stairway to Heaven with Lizzo. I could spend a month, I think, just reading out all the people that you feature on this album. Do you know every single person in music?
I've met a lot of these people. Can't say that I knew them. I was fans, but see, I recorded a lot of these songs. I was going to do Let It Be, because it's one of my favorite songs. I did Carl's favorites and my favorites. That's how I chose all the songs on this album.
Excellent.
And I was going to do that one either way. And then after I'd recorded a lot of the album, and I got to thinking, well, I wonder if there's any chance in this world that Paul McCartney might play piano and sing on this. So I called him and I said, is there any chance in this world that you might sing on this, and it'd be great if you would even play? He said, I would be honored. And so he did.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be.
And then I thought, oh my God, I got Paul McCartney playing and singing. Then I thought, Ringo, like it's the last of the Beatles. Same with Elton. I've worked with him for years. Backstage, we always sing together on these great old classic country songs. And we knew we sounded good. And I was going to do Don't Let the Sun Go Down either way. But I called and said, would you sing on this? Same thing. So it went like that all the way through. Everybody was so nice, so generous. Nobody said no, and they seemed to really mean it when they said they'd be happy to do it. So that really touched me.
Well, clearly everyone wants to work with Dolly Parton. That much is clear. But has anyone ever said no?
Well, I'm sure they have, but I don't recall right offhand. And if they had, I'd probably kick some butt and tell them all the reasons that they should. I would probably try to change their mind about that. If they said no, I'd say why, and I'd have to get so into it they'd just say yeah, just to shut me up.
One of my favourites on this album has to be Wrecking Ball featuring Miley Cyrus, who, of course, is your goddaughter.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
fun doing that one?
Well, I love Miley. We're very, very close. We really have a bond that nothing could ever break. I've known her since before she was born. I was on tour with Billy Ray, her dad, when she was conceived. We worked when he had achy breaky heart. We worked a lot of tours together. And so I've known her, and Billy and I got to be good friends. And before she was born, he said, whatever this child is, boy or girl, you got to be the godmother. And so, I mean, Miley and I go back before she was even born. So, of course, I had to do Wrecking Ball, because that's one of my favorite songs, Miley being one of my favorite people. When they were bashing Miley after the Hannah Montana, when she was trying to grow into herself, you know, I would just kick ass up and down just to say, hey, she's trying to grow up, leave her alone. She's trying to not be Hannah Montana. She wants you to know who she is. Destiny Hope, Miley Cyrus, you know, her real name. And, you know, I would always defend her, and I always will, because Miley is one of the greatest talents ever.
Well, coming from someone like you, that is a ringing endorsement indeed. Dolly Parton, it's such a pleasure to speak to you. Congratulations on the album, and thanks for joining us on the project.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope the audience will. I know I had a wonderful time doing it, and I gave it all I had, so I hope that will be good enough.
Amazing.
You can retire, mate. Hang it up now.
So I passed.
You passed. I
Oh,
was so
no.
nervous when I heard Waleed was interviewing Dolly. I'm like, what did you do? What did you say? But you did so great. I had goosebumps that whole time.
She was like goosebumps
Yeah,
everywhere.
it was awesome.
She's a very easy person to interview.
That was
The album is an
beautiful.
absolute colossus. There's 30 tracks on it.
Oh
It
my
just is
God.
incredible.
Wow.
It's called
No
Rockstar,
skips.
as you saw, because she's now a rock star. It's out November 17.
Oh.